Good morning, everybody, or should I say good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of the Phee Smee Show with your host, me, Manly Mark. And you got Phee Smee over here, just coy and casual like usual. I told him his optimism is making me mad today for some reason.
Optimism.
I hate it.
He's a negative nanny on Fridays. I don't understand why, because Monday through Thursday, he's just uplifts my spirits every single moment of every single day. Then he comes in here on Friday and he's like rascaling me around. Everything I say, he's got to come back for it. So I don't know.
Well, people think, just from my demeanor, like this happens all the time. I walk into a store or something, I love how positive and happy and bouncy you all are all the time. But it's like, I'm like one of the most pessimistic people in existence. I don't know if you can tell, Phee, but I'm, I don't know what you think, but pretty pessimistic.
I think you torment your own mind by the thoughts that you have from time to time.
I am a slave to my mind.
He's definitely that.
Yeah, I mean, I do well.
Absolutely.
Considering that, but I am definitely a slave to the rising and falling tides of my own mind or my own thoughts.
But he does make some nice AI videos for his kids that really make them happy and smile and
of course.
Laugh and joke. And I'm going to have him make me an AI video. I've got
I will.
I've got some things that I need to do, so we'll.
Well, I tell you, those AI are going to, before long, they're just going to completely replace actors. Well, music, actors. Before long, you can just have a whole feature length film based upon 3 sentences of output. Yep. So I mean,
maybe not.
What do you mean, maybe not?
Hey, I think it'll probably be more than 3 ideas before you have to have a movie. I think you can probably put in a long string of things and have a real movie.
Yeah, you can.
I don't think 3 of them is going to be enough.
Oh, I think you can, but I mean, it won't be as detailed or as it'll be a whole movie. But I don't think you're going to even have to have the knowledge to say, I want this plot, I want this. It'll get to the point very soon where you can literally just, hey, make me a movie about a guy who goes on an adventure with his best friend Sam, and they do some sword fighting, and there's a bad guy who's a dragon, and he falls in love with a princess who has a crush on Sam.
Trust me, I've already got my movie.
It'll be able to be making it.
It's called Flesh and Blood, and it's about my vision.
Oh, okay. Well, we could honestly start putting in some of your what's the word I'm looking for? Some of what you saw. We could already be putting that into AIs and rendering pictures of what you saw. I'm serious.
Wow.
Well, you knew that.
I know. I'm just playing with the audience.
Okay. Well, the audience knows that you know that.
Oh, the audience, I tell you what, those rascals. What you got today on Friday, Mark? It's Friday night and we're gonna party. We're gonna party like never before. Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, me and Phee came on here completely unprepared, have no idea what we're going to talk about. Nothing. We're just shooting the bull.
That is not true. The boys spent an hour doing inserts. He works hard all the time. Then he comes on here and acts like he knows absolutely nothing.
I know. We got a good show for you.
Got the worst coffee cup in the history of the world and likes it.
Look at that monstrosity.
This right here is my mother's cup. I like my mother's cup because it's not.
Yeah, but it's automatically invalid because you are attaching it to sentimental value, and that is valid in some instances, but that's a emotional manipulation to sway the audience into saying, well, it was his late mother's cup, so yeah, that's fine. If I had an ugly cup from my late mother, I'd be like, well,
your mother's not dead.
No, but I don't know,
See, right there, your statement's already incorrect.
No, but if
you could have a coffee cup from your live mother, and it would still be sentimental.
They're all stupid, so I don't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have breaking news today, and I don't know which one Mark wants to start with first, but we've got news all around this world.
We do, and I tell you, my phone folks aggravate me. I called yesterday to, long story short, my sister's watching my children this morning. But in the background, I hear my grandma say, "What's that idiot want?" And, I just thought, oh, okay, I see how it is. This idiot, and it's just like...
A grandmother calling her grandson idiot over the phone, I hope she's teasing.
No.
Oh, that's her. That's the way she.
No, because I
Is
said
that your middle name?
No, but it's the implication that when I go there, oh, how are things going? Oh, bye, go make a sandwich for this boy. He's just skin and bones. Oh, but then in the background, what's that idiot want? And then when I say, what is she going on? Call me an idiot for? He knows we think he's an idiot, and it's like, well, yeah, I guess, but you don't have to.
You don't have to drive it home, do you?
You don't have to be so rude about it.
You don't have to put the dadgum last nail in the coffin, do you, Granny?
No, I don't get me wrong. I love my mother. I love my grandmother.
I don't know about that. I tell you, old Granny, she's on thin ice.
No, she's not on thin ice, but it certainly, I'm not gonna not go see her or not have a good relationship with her because for all intents and purposes, I think I'm close with her. But it's just, I don't know how I'm gonna think or feel when I'm almost 90 or 90.
You're never going to get there.
Well, yeah, that's beside the point. Shut up. That's beside the point. Yeah, okay, your vision, 15 years left, whatever. That's not the point. The point is, when you start reaching that age, I imagine, I don't know, you would start to think about your legacy and what you're going to leave behind. And so intuitively, I automatically think, is this how she wants me to remember her? I mean, I'm fighting against that because that's folly and foolishness, right? But at the same time, it's like, you want me to remember you as being a two-faced meanie?
Remember, if you're old, begin with the end in mind. Go to the coffin with you laying in it and then work your way backwards, and you will treat people much better.
Yeah, I mean, because on one hand, old people say, well, I've lived this long, I can be mean to people. I guess you can. You have that right. But yeah, why? Who cares? Why? Do you want
got a choice to make. Can you be sweet and kind and loving, or can you be mean and hateful?
Well, but it's also like most of the time these matriarchs and patriarchs, elderly people are the pillar of faith in their own families. And I don't know if it's just me. Anyone that watches me or you knows I don't just go along with family lines for the sake of saying.
You don't go along with any lines until you have researched, studied, thought of it from every angle, and then you're still worried you're going to be picking or choosing wrong.
Of course. But what I'm saying is it's like, ooh, that's supposed to be the pillar of faith in my own family that I'm supposed to follow. And again, I'm not hating on my grandma, so if you watch this, grandma, I love you. But it's just like, show me the fruits.
Oh.
Show me the fruits. And I'm not questioning salvation. I'm not questioning salvation or this or that, but it's just like, are these the fruits? Are these the fruits?
Idiot.
I guess that's me. Anyways, I was just thinking about that when I woke up, and I guess it aided to my bad mood because it's like
he's been roughhousing me. I'm telling you, folks, he's been dogging me since he got here. He's been talking trash, nickel and dime, two-line rhyming, making me feel bad. Matter of fact, he talked to me. He said, "See, when it's halfway clear, when it's all the way down."
Because sometimes you ask me questions that your own eyeballs could answer in a split second.
That's true.
Which again, I'm not trying to hate on.
All I'm trying to do is see if he's paying attention, folks.
I'm always
and he
paying
normally
attention.
is.
I'm always not, and I am.
I know.
But maybe I'm just weird. But I just when I think about those types of things, like like I said, my grandmother called me an idiot. It's just like, why?
I call myself, but I say idiot. My kids all know when I make a mistake or something, I'll go, idiot.
Well, and I understand from some perspectives, I could be viewed as an idiot. Just like you could be viewed as an idiot.
Yeah.
Based upon like people thinking you're crazy or your vision, or
Absolutely.
But it's just like, well, why is it important to let me know that you think that?
It's not. But maybe she didn't mean to say it that loud.
No, she did. She did. Anyways, I'll go over there later and have a cup of coffee and everything will be fine.
There you go.
But
she'll feed you a sandwich. You ain't nothing but skin and bones.
No, she's going to call my mother to come over there.
Folks, when you see us on when you see us on TV and you look at that boy right over there, half my age, and him basically 5 inches taller than me, would you think that we weigh the same amount of as our body weight? Especially when I had to weigh this small a weight since I was a 10th grade.
Well, same here. I'm down below my high school weight.
I am for my senior year. I am too.
I am below.
Which is really I got to do something with these arms and legs and chest. And
but if I said, "Hey, Phee, let's go work out," you'd say, "Oh, I don't need that.
No, I'd say I can't. I'm not lifting any weights. I can do some band work.
Well,
some
why wouldn't you just
yoga,
start small? Because
push-ups.
Well, even if I've even read like for women who get worried about getting too muscular, strength training isn't going to make you blow up. Doing anabolic steroids are. You're just going to get nice and toned.
I'm not worried about blowing up. I'm worried about dealing with liver and kidney and skin with heavy weights on me.
Well, I'm not
They
saying
didn't want me to lift more than 10 pounds, and I'm.
I remember when I first started coming around. Hey, I can't pick up that box, so you got to get it. It's like,
that's right.
Come on, Phee. Come on, Phee.
I'm telling you the truth.
Which I don't doubt you. I'm sure.
Well, I mean, that's what they said. But when my dog was having a heat stroke out back, he was like 85 pounds. I had to carry him to the car, and I thought I'm going to end up dying
over a dog
carrying this
foolish dog.
By the time I got him to the animal hospital, I mean, I was war plumb.
My dog is about 80 to 100 pounds. I remember one time I was going on a 7-mile run, and foolish dog tried following me, and fell over in the ditch and couldn't get back up. So like that last mile, I just had to throw her up over my shoulders, just walk back. But
you could do it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't have done that.
No, but I just thought, dog, why?
They could walk 7 miles. He could not walk 6 miles and then put a 100-pound dog on his shoulders and walk the last mile.
I don't know.
Matter of fact, we ought to have a movie called The Last Mile.
Well, what's it going to be about?
You carrying your dog on your shoulders.
It wasn't that deep of a story.
Oh, my bad.
Well, I mean, I carried her home and I said, there you go. And then went on about my business.
I was talking about Luna the other night on my show.
Oh, what about her? You've never even seen her.
I know. I was just saying that you really love your dog and that you take her on hikes with you. Now you say she's too old.
Yeah, I think she's too old. That last one I went on, I mean, she was fine for overnight hikes. Like I'd do a 15-mile loop, hike 5 or 6, 7 miles first afternoon to evening, wake up, finish. She did perfect on those, but it wasn't until I went on a week-long hike that she did good the first 3 or 4 days, and her feet, it was her feet started getting rubbed raw. And so, nothing I could really do about that other than it
carry her.
Well, no, I didn't carry my hike. I was carrying a 50, 60-pound backpack. No, I wasn't doing that. I tried using an extra pair of socks to put on her feet, but, couldn't get them to stay. But it happened to rain the last 3 to 4 days of my hike, which softened the ground.
That helped?
Yeah, that helped her. But, I literally thought, she's going to drop dead on this hike, and I'm just going to have to roll her down the mountain.
Well, I hate that. But I know you love your dog. So let's get into the news today, Manly.
Okay, because we spent about 13 minutes just hee-hawing around. So some stuff going on in the news. We're going to touch it all. Well, not all of it, because 24-hour news cycle, it's impossible to view it and retain it all, almost as if it's by design, because they got to keep these people hired. But I think this is important, Phee, and I'm going to preface it by asking, what do you think about organ donation?
Well, and they sent my doctor referred me to the UAMS Arkansas transplant organ donor list, and I told him I did not want that. So I'm not a fan of organ donors. I think regenerative medicine is the key. But
so you were going to turn down a new liver?
Yes.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't know if I'd do that.
Yeah, I would definitely do that.
But I just meant as far as like I don't.
The organ, if you get someone else's organs.
Oh yeah, you become them.
You're going to spend the rest of your life in miserable situations. Since the mid-1980s, they haven't changed any of that post-op medication. So they're going to be able to build and make your own organs.
There was a TED Talk from, 10 years ago about a guy walking out on stage with a 3D printed kidney being like, look.
That's going to be available. Regenerative medicine is definitely on cutting edge. I think transplants are on their way out. But I also want to tell you this. It gives folks a real incentive, especially on these secondary markets, for bad things to happen to live people.
Oh, yeah. Well, and it, like you said, I don't know if you just said that, it creates a market and a money-making opportunity for these type of things. In fact, I should have pulled up, but there's a guy I've been reading and listening to for videos about for several years that even questions brain death in the sense of he's not, he was a part of the board in the 60s or 70s that defined brain death, and then, several years later decided, no, that's not right. Just essentially saying they just want your organs, and I don't know.
Well, do you think that they can actually? I guess corrupt folks will definitely do that.
Well, but how many stories do you hear about someone who is supposedly brain dead waking up?
Well,
you hear those stories,
2 or 3 a year.
Yeah, but
I'm not saying it's normal, but I'm saying it definitely happens.
Right, and not only that, I think there are deeper esoteric implications of organ donation in the sense of people having dreams that this organ donor used to have. People having cravings for certain foods that they didn't like.
Absolutely.
And so it begs the question, or even having memories that they didn't experience. And it begs the question, number one, what are you actually, what's the deal with that? But number two, there's the suggestion was, and I have nothing to base this off of except for just something I read 7 years ago, how much of our us isn't necessarily only in our brain, but are attached to other organs. I
think it all does, don't you?
Well, they even describe your stomach as your second brain.
Okay.
Have you never heard that?
I have. Matter of fact, a lot of people think that your soul's in your stomach.
Well, I don't know, but it also lends to the credence that, hey, a lot of people with neurological problems, even like with ADHD and ADD and autism, experience an improvement in symptoms when they take care of their gut issues. You ever heard that?
I have.
And so,
I've heard a lot of things when it comes to organ transplants. Taste of food is the number one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is their appetite will change. I'm looking for my letter now for the UAMS organ.
I was about to say, what are you doing over there playing on your phone in the middle of a show?
No, I'm not.
Jerry. I'm glad that Jerry's tuning in. Hey, guys. Jerry, we're just talking about organ donation.
Yeah, Mark's fixing to tell us all about organ donation.
Well, I just did, but we're about to actually get into some recent news with RFK Jr. and some organ donation things. So I guess while Fee's trying to look for this thing that's going to be redundant by the time he finds it, I'm going to go ahead
and... It's okay, because I'm listening.
Well, yeah, but you're not actually engaging. You're not...
That's making you upset that I'm not looking at you when I'm listening to you?
I'm just saying all of your commentary's been half of what it could have been because you're looking at your phone. But that's beside the point. It actually doesn't bother me. I'm just being hateful.
Obviously, you're being hateful.
Anyways... Jerry, I'm glad you're tuned in.
Jerry, glad you're tuning in, although you talk a lot of trash about Phee. I heard you say that I was crazy the other day.
And you just read the comments.
I want to let you know that...
You yourself say you're crazy.
I am. But Mark tells me that he really wants you to tune in on a daily basis, Jerry. He really, really does. He's fired up about you. Matter of fact, you are his favorite.
He's my favorite because he's the only one who listens.
Watch it.
I'm just saying. He's the only one that engages with us.
Our network.
I'm not dogging it.
It's what you're doing.
And
I got 720 views on one little today, and you're talking trash. Like nobody watching.
But
again, I don't understand it.
Yeah. See, Phee is half-assing today.
Oh my goodness!
And don't let Phee.
The language here is just like it's G-rated.
We're about to talk about organ trafficking. That's not G-rated.
I know. We don't talk about anything that's G-rated.
No,
that's That's why I was joking with Jerry.
Anyways, let's just watch this RFK Jr. video about the organ trafficking and the corruption within the own organizations that do it. So, Jerry, thank you for tuning in. As always, our most loyal follower. I try to listen more. I've been busy with work. He's a working man. He's not lucky like us to...
Trust me, Working Man's a pretty good movie, by the way.
I've never seen Working Man.
Again, doesn't get out much.
Yeah. Well, Jerry, I hope work's going good for you, and hope, you're successful in all that you do. I don't know what you do for a living, but I hope you're successful, just like I'm hoping we're going to be successful.
Jerry, one of these days, we're going to meet and greet. We'll get out in the communities, go around, have our group meetings, and people will attend. Matter of fact, I think we'll probably have a convention.
The Phee Smee convention.
Phee Smee convention here in the future.
Let's watch this RFK Jr. video real quick, and then we're going to comment, and we'll comment more on Jerry.
Thank you.
Mike.
Organs harvested from patients that are still moving. I heard that from a congressional hearing last week. What can you tell us?
Yeah, it's a horror story, and part of it is because of the capture of the agency that was regulating ORR, the board that was actually regulating organ harvesting was overlapping with the contractor that was actually harvesting the organs. And it was done state by state. Some of the states were just truly, it was a nightmare. And it was sickening to read these stories. They had one instance where a family was waiting at the hospital for the body of their deceased relative. The relative was brought to one of these private organ harvesting centers, awoke while they were harvesting her organs, and then was brought back to the hospital where she died eventually. But the family, brought litigation, and that's the only reason that we learned of this story. We've done a complete investigation of that company. We've taken the contract away from that company, and we're reorganizing it so that we will be regulating it and running it directly at HHS, and this will never happen again.
Well, what do you think about that, Phee Smee?
Well, again, I think it happens more than he wants to act like it does, especially in other countries. I think people breed children to harvest organs.
Yeah, well, the adage of, you hear these conspiracy theorists say, oh, the global elite's just a bunch of child-eating, pedophile devil worshippers. And it's like, oh, wait, once you kind of start realizing that there's a market for healthy organs, specifically 18 to 40-year-olds,
Yes.
And that they really...
But people don't want to think about it, number one, but they don't believe it.
Well, and I saw a video, I think I even played it on one of my Midday Madness Manly Marks a month or two ago, about a family who the son went to DMV, hey, you want to be an organ donor? Yeah, sure. Had it on his driver's license. That was the only paperwork.
You told me that.
And the nurse, they were got into a fight saying, we're taking his organs. No, you're not. If it's as simple as a DMV employee saying, oh, do you want to be an organ donor? Oh, sure, why not? And that's as far as it goes, your verbal consent, you sign your driver's license. That's scary.
That driver's license must really mean a lot of hidden things that we don't know about, because I had to go get one of these star driver's license 2 years before my...
Mark of the beast.
Before my dadgum driver's license was up just to fly.
Well...
I mean, it's crazy. But yes, people are harvesting organs around the world. Now, if they're doing it in the United States, which you just saw there, that's really scary.
Yeah, because these hospitals make money from it. And not only that, but these global elites, they want these organs. Any way they can make money. Like, this has been several years ago, but there was a documentation about like UCLA or whatever, and like, is that in California?
Yes.
Where they were requesting aborted fetuses with still beating hearts to harvest these organs for research or to sell or to make stem cells. And it's like, and there was even at the time interviews from these doctors, this and that, where they would talk about sometimes they would abort the babies and they'd still be alive, tell the mother who went in to have their baby aborted, oh yeah, we've taken care of it. Ship them off. Perfectly viable child. That stuff is happening, and that stuff's real. The whole idea that there's a market for foreskins really makes you wonder why they push circumcision.
Yeah, but one foreskin doesn't account to, hey, you get $100,000 for a kidney, $250,000 for a heart.
No, but I'm just saying, if it's as simple as there's a market of South Korean beauty products or foreskin facials where these celebrities and rich people literally use cosmetics and face creams derived from stem cells in foreskins.
That is not theory. That's fact.
That is a fact.
Yes.
But it makes you wonder, well, they tell you it's nasty and they tell you it's unhygienic. Well, you're telling me for most of human history, men just haven't been good at washing their pee-pees and all of them have problems and all of them get infections? Again, I don't know, kind of far-fetched. But then they attach it to the idea of, well, circumcision's in the Bible, so you have to do it. Well, that was the sign of the covenant made to Abraham for the Jewish people. That doesn't apply to the Gentiles. So, why is it that we somehow all these American men need to appear more Jewish? I don't know. I mean, not to get into the Jew question, but I'm just saying there's a market for that. But I'm even taking it a step further and taking it to like the videos we saw a while back of Putin and Xi Jinping talking about living forever. Well, getting all these fresh new organs. But even in recent news, they've even busted people in the border attached to cartels who are kidnapping pregnant women, doing cesareans, C-sections, harvesting the baby's organs, kidnapping, selling the children, and they are literally devil-worshipping, baby-eating pedophiles. Sounds crazy until you...
Folks, before 2023, if anybody would have told me what he just said, I would have thought there's no way in the world that's going on.
Well, yeah, but can't you, even without knowing anything, couldn't you just use your intuition to be like, it wouldn't surprise me if those at the top... it's kind of like me and Jerry were talking about the other day. Why is it that the people at the top of all these organizations, all these religious movements, all these political movements, all these secret societies, they all follow the same characteristics of, systematic abuse, ritualistic abuse. It's like I said, it doesn't matter what mask they're wearing.
I'm just telling you what you're saying is fact. That's what they're doing, and people don't believe it. Even right now, when you're saying it, they think that is crazy.
Well, okay, if that's the case, let's listen to Tulsi Gabbard, whatever she is, the Director of National Intelligence Community, whatever. Turn off your mic and let's listen to this video.
Counterterrorism Center supported through actionable intelligence to both U.S. law enforcement as well as Mexican law enforcement the arrest of a Sinaloa cartel boss, El Plato, in Juarez, Mexico, as well as his top 3 money launderers. In a separate and recent successful interagency operation, NCTC worked closely with the U.S. Marshals Service that led to the arrest of another dangerous Sinaloa cartel member responsible for tracking huge amounts of cocaine and hundreds of thousands of dollars in this single incident with drug proceeds through his network. And I'll say the last example I'll share is probably the most insidious, was providing intelligence to the Mexican law enforcement that led to the arrest of a CJNG cartel-affiliated baby trafficker called La Diabla. Her whole money-making operation was centered around luring pregnant women, performing illegal C-sections, harvesting organs, and selling newborn babies. Mr. President, it's your leadership that has made all of this possible. I can tell you, in the midst of this government shutdown, our folks, like everyone around this table, are working 24/7 without pay and eager to get after this because they believe in your leadership and the mission.
Well, what do you think about that, Phee?
I just think that it's absurd for the White House with your president setting 3 seats from her, and that's what they're talking about.
Well, but
is it not real? It's like
Israel,
the Senate having your UFO hearings when you talk about it 2 months before they happen, and now it just gives credibility to it. And when the president's sitting 3 chairs down from the lady, and they're talking about that, and now as far as the government shutdown and them not getting paid,
they're all rich.
She just threw that in there. But they're harvesting organs, stealing children. I guess what they do when they cut the mama open and take the babies out, they probably harvest her organs too or kill her.
Yeah, and then
they get double the money.
Sell the newborn babies either into organ trafficking or sex slavery or whatever ritualistic activities they like to conduct that involve these children.
Again,
because they claim that there are children born and bred for the sole purpose of sex slavery.
I thought I would tell you that
it's not only the kidnapped children, because that is happening, that's verifiable, but there are children who are bred and born in captivity for that purpose.
Well, I knew there were children that were born and bred to be harvested their organs, but for them to be in captivity sex slaves for the rest of their life, I guess that would be mentally conditional at a very young age. They never know any different.
You can even find interviews and testimonies from satanic ritual abuse survivors, who say we were taught and indoctrinated from a young age to take part in these ceremonies, take part in these rituals, and it really makes you wonder why the left, specifically the Democrats in America, don't want to close the border. Because they have their hand in the cookie jar of the drug trafficking, they have their hand in the cookie jar of all this other stuff. I mean, it's like, and because they want to invade the first world with third world, per UN Agenda 2030. But
I just don't think people listening want to think about that. I think they'd rather just go oblivious, blinded by the night, and not really know what's going on in the world than to hear some of the things that you have brought to my attention that are just real, folks. It's real. It's happening every day,
and I
whether
guess,
you believe it or not.
I guess I'm just desensitized to it in the sense that it's like, I'm not surprised by it anymore. Like I don't spend my nights, I don't have sleepless nights thinking, oh, they're stealing the bait. I know it's happening. It's just a fact of life for me
and that's sad.
I guess,
It's sad that we can watch on television buildings and hospitals getting blown up. And it's like, oh, just another day.
Well, yeah.
Folks getting shot at the ice. Well, it's just another day.
It doesn't affect
protesting
you.
in the streets. Yeah, it's just another day.
Doesn't affect you till it affects you, man.
And until you're there, and that's what's going to happen, folks.
Mm-hmm.
You need to stay tuned to the Phee Smee Network while you can stay ahead of the curve.
Well, and that's what's coming. I mean, wasn't it Phee who told you months ago about the National Guard rollout? How he talked about there would be, what do you call it? Chaos within American cities that would require the National Guard to come?
Can you imagine when I was telling them 2 years ago that every city would have a National Guard in it, and that would be the reason that we would win this civil and war? The folks thought I was absolutely loony.
Yeah. I mean, what can I say? I mean, it's just, why wouldn't they though? Who are you?
That's
who are you?
That's right, exactly.
I mean, I'm not actually asking you that because you're Phee Smee.
I'm Phee Smee.
Yeah, and it's like I have people all the time who literally ask me, well, you think he's faking about his vision? You think he's lying? And it's like, I know Phee. I know he loves the Lord. I know he's not inherently crazy. And so I know he had a vision. And, it's like, Phee gets aggravated at me because he's like, I know you'd think I'm silly. I know you doubt me. No, I don't doubt your character. I don't doubt your experiences. But it's just kind of like the Lord didn't give me the vision. And so I'm just sitting back watching it all unfold as it happens. And it's like, as things continue to happen, confirmation. But, I'm not going to stick my neck out on the chopping block to say, he had a vision if he didn't kill me. Because, that'd be foolish on me. But it's like, it's not that for me, it's not a doubt. It's not a doubt your character, not a thinking you're lying or was crazy. Or it's just I'm taking your word for it. And I'm sitting back eating my popcorn as it's happening. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Because
I hope everybody else is kicking back and talking smack, eating popcorn and watching, because it's just going to continue to happen.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. It's like people, again, everyone always wants to ask me, has he told you he lied about his vision yet? Has he? And it's just like, no, I know.
I can make a much better living.
Well, I know, and I don't. I know for a fact Phee Smee's not the type of guy that would come on a platform and make those type of bold claims if something didn't happen. And again, confirmation is just as it continues to unfold.
Amen.
So, I don't know if you take that hateful or me doubting you, but
I don't take it hateful. I understand. I've told many people, I understand it's very strange.
Yeah.
I understand how they could doubt. I understand. I don't expect them to believe. I just expect them to get in that first step of faith. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, and let it continue to unfold.
I had an apocalyptic vision 6 years ago. And, it was weird. 2 or 3 days after that, I was talking to my brother. He said 2 or 3 days ago he had an apocalyptic vision. Same night I did. What's that mean? Now if you ask me the details, I can't give them to you because it's been so long and I didn't put much stock into it because at the time, I experienced a lot of weird things. Probably because I was really digging deep into, New Age thought, New Age practice, this and that, and who knows. But, the one thing he said to me was, my wife was there, but I didn't see you in my vision or my dream. And so, I'm not actually saying I had a vision, but, weird stuff with my twin brother has happened like that. But
you do know that they say
it's true from the Bible.
Young people have visions, old people have dreams.
Yeah, what's the difference?
I don't really know, except I know that I was
or is it interchangeable?
I was walking and up. I wasn't sleeping or had my eyes closed. I was actually walking when I was just carried into the Spirit.
Well, let me ask you this concerning your vision, then we're going to get on to our next clip, which adds to your vision of the National Guard. Because you talked about last night on your Night with Phee that I tuned into.
Hey,
That
wow.
5 minutes here or there,
Oh, well,
but that you
I was fixing to
saw
give him some credit.
you saw the people begging for death
Yes.
after they've taken the mark.
Yes.
Was there any visual or auditory or symbolic instances of the mark that you saw? Okay. So I didn't know.
I did not see any mark on them, but they looked like. And of course, I don't watch that Walking Dead.
Sure.
But I have seen the advertisements.
Yeah.
It looked like people that were actually smoking, really smoke coming off their skin, and then begging.
See, I wonder if that was a literal, that's what's going to happen, or you were, again, sounds kind of crazy, but I've talked to people, didn't have any reason to lie about it, made them seem absolutely crazy. But, I was at a FA convention, and the guy from Tennessee, I could tell you his name, but I'm not, because I just remember his face. It's been 10 years ago. I don't know. He didn't even know me that well, but we got to talking, just about regular stuff, and he took me aside with all seriousness and just like panic in his eyes. Had no reason to tell me this, like I said, but said, I see demons. And I said, what? What are you talking about? He said, sometimes I just see demons chewing on people, behind people, on people, like these demonic oppressions, because oppression is different than full-on possession. Like, I don't think a Christian, a child of God, could be possessed, but I think they could be oppressed, and I don't know what you think about that, but like, whether it be the spirit of addiction, the spirit of lust, or,
the demon of disease, the demon of
all
those
he just like, I don't know, for some reason, confided in me after talking to me for 6 or 7 minutes that, he was scared to death. Said that, the example he gave said that one time he was in his car and he just knew if he would have stepped outside of that car that he was going to kill himself, from these, what he saw about these demons. So it's like, I'm relating that to your vision in that I wonder what you were seeing on and coming off the people was a literal what's going to happen, or you were seeing through that lens of that's what they would appear spiritually, which sounds hokey pokey or kind of. Does that make sense?
I think the biological weapons play a big role there, and I do think that the burnings, people are going to actually be tormented and burned if they take that mark. They're going to die and go to hell.
I'm not doubting that. I was just wondering,
But yes, and vision. Let me tell you, so when you see a third of mankind get killed, so much death surrounded me. And then to go and think that was bad, and then to go to the last 3.5 years before the second coming of my Lord, I'm telling you, folks, you're not prepared. You're not prepared.
Well, probably not. Probably not, especially.
So let's see what you got going.
How dare you just cut me off instead of letting me just do the. I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna get to now based upon. I'm just hating Phee. Yeah, this is what we got going on. Okay, Phee warned you months and months ago about the National Guard being in every major city. Then it kind of started off with, well, he's just sending the National Guard to D.C. And, we thought, whoa, here comes Phee. And then, people griping about that. And then now it's, well, he's going to send them into other trouble areas. Well, now there's talk about by 2026, them having a presence in all large major areas. You see how it's much better when I preface it like I did? And so here is I guess this happened yesterday or today, but, of course the White House is denying it, but, it just makes you wonder. So take a listen to this, and then Fee's going to comment on it because I don't think he's seen it, but going to relate it back to what he saw. And you did say that you saw the National Guard being in every, in your vision.
The National Guard is the main reason that in the military, the first responders and the police is the main reason that we win. This civil unrest, these terror attacks, these cyber attacks, when you've got people in their own country protecting their own families, people are going to realize real quick, we're going to win.
And so that relating to your vision was almost like a time lapse. You saw how it started, and then you saw it progress. Okay. So let's watch this from the White House yesterday.
Question for Secretary Hegseth. Sir, a memo circulating on social media details the establishment of a National Guard response force that's going to be trained in crowd control and civil unrest and deployed in all 50 states by April of 2026. Can you verify the authenticity of that memo, and do you have any more information on the operations?
I'm not going to answer particulars on something that may be in the planning process, but we definitely do have multiple layers of National Guard response forces, whether it's in each state, whether it's regionally, whether it's Title 10 active duty, whether it's Washington, D.C. We've got a lot of different ways that constitutionally and legally we can employ Title 10 and Title 32 forces, and we will do so when necessary.
So what do you think about that, Phee?
Gonna happen, baby.
Ooh, I was expecting him to outright deny it, but no, he didn't outright deny it.
I didn't hear a denial there.
No, I just assumed they did, but it kind of lends credence to.
I think when you look at your president, when he's
Well, and you notice even that lady next to him kept looking down her notes to, now they don't want to say too much, but they don't want to not answer,
That's exactly right.
I don't know if you noticed that also.
I think they were uncomfortable.
Yeah, but at the same time, I almost think they wouldn't mind just saying, yeah, we have the presidential power to do so, and we're going to do it. But the optics, because people already call him a king and saying he's a dictator and all this. And so, yeah, I wouldn't want to come out and just say, yeah, we're going to do it. But sure sounds like they're going to do that. I wonder if we will see here in Fort Smith just, hey, Joe, you're the guy who guards this corner every weekend.
Well, our city is in the top 4% of crime in the country per capita. 96% of the cities across America are safer than where Mark and I live.
I don't like that. I want to move somewhere more rural.
Well, you are a lot more rural than I am.
Yeah,
but I never see any crime. I'm in a nice area of town.
But you sure hear the crime.
But
I just mean, you hear the police all driving by, wee-wooing all the time. I don't know if you've ever heard gunshots.
Only when Joe's over here shooting guns in my backyard.
What a...
I told him that,
Ooh.
I said, don't do that anymore. You live out in the country, you shoot what you want
Well,
to.
it just intuitively know this is within city limits, and someone hears a gunshot, they're most likely going to call the police.
You would think.
And I don't know if they'd arrest you over that, but at the very least, you're going to get a hefty fine.
I would think so, and I didn't have anything to do with it. So, that didn't happen. But I believe that you'll see the National Guard in every state. But I'd also believe that you'll see the National Guards in cities that are over 75,000 people.
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't think you're going to be at every little town.
No, they wouldn't have enough. They'd be spread too thin.
The county sheriffs, the local
they'll
police
fill that
departments,
gap.
They'll fill that gap.
Well, which is also interesting that you've noticed over the last 20 years an increasing militarization of sheriffs and local police forces. I don't know if you've thought.
And you've got to pay these people. Now, there's folks getting paid $20 an hour.
Well, but I don't think a sheriff office or a local police department should have armored vehicles or SWAT teams with full auto machine guns. Leave that to the professionals.
Absolutely.
But I say, they are professional law enforcement, so I'm not poo-pooing on them. For the people who talk about the threat of martial law, it is concerning that these local sheriff's offices and police forces have access to equipment that you can, that are for the military. So if that's in our favor, great.
I have told people almost nightly on night about the National Guard, but I've also said the first responders, we need to be training twice as many. We need to increase the pay. Our local police, we need to increase the pay, we need to absolutely train the folks.
Jerry asked what city y'all are from. We are in Fort Smith, Arkansas.
We are a border town 2 or 3 miles away from Oklahoma and in western Arkansas. It's the River Valley. And Manley lives outside the city in a different county, but not far from here.
And even that's not rural enough, and it has too many people.
Okay.
I spent the last 8 years of my life in a very small town in central Arkansas that I think the population might have been 300 to 500. The town square, I guess if you could call it, was a gas station called Feed and Stuff, and then the local Baptist church. And that was it. Like,
I didn't know I owned a gas station called Phee and stuff.
oh, well, I mean, you'd be making a little more money. But
I got shop in the dark.
no, I'm just saying, if you owned a gas station, you'd be making money. That's all that's all I'm saying.
The gas station doesn't make any money off of fuel.
No, you'd probably make it from the snacks, the lotto tickets, the cigarettes.
There you go.
The fake dopey
Beer.
products. The what? The beer? Well, there's a dry county, so.
No, they wouldn't do the beer.
Yeah, most counties in Arkansas are dry counties.
Pure stupidity. But again, that's political because the folks who have the liquor stores in the wet counties besides the port.
Yeah, they don't want.
Counties,
Yeah, same thing with all the
casinos and that type stuff. It's always hidden agendas. When you got the Baptist churches joining with the Oklahoma casinos to keep casinos out of Arkansas, it tickles me.
Jerry, you never heard of Fort Smith, Arkansas? Maybe if that's what you're referencing, yeah, it's just
90,000 people, Jerry, second largest, at one point, second largest city in the state.
Yeah, it might
now,
not be.
Probably not because of Northwest Arkansas. You've heard of Walmart, corporate headquarters.
Fayetteville, Bentonville, Springdale.
Yeah.
Which, I guess to someone outside of the state like Jerry, a town of 90,000 people is probably small.
Probably.
So,
Well, he's from Tallahassee.
Okay, well, yeah.
Tallahassee's-
Always trying to give people's information. What if Jerry don't want people knowing that?
All right. Well, I'm sorry, Jerry, but I know I've been through your town, and it's not much larger than my town. So
I'm just saying,
we're again, he's never been there, obviously, but
No.
I have.
No.
Go Seminoles and FSU.
I'm not well traveled. I will say I'm well cultured, but I'm not well traveled.
As Robert Frost once said,
What do you say?
two roads diverge in the woods.
Yeah,
You
but is
took
that
the one less traveled by?
Well, is okay? I guess, yeah. But I always take the one
And that's
less
made
traveled
all
by.
the difference.
I've always taken the road less traveled by. But yeah, so Arkansas he doesn't have a lot. Yeah, from Tallahassee. Okay, maybe Jerry don't care, but I just don't like sitting here and saying, "Here's my social security number, everybody." Even though
420-35-8921 is Manly Mark's social security number.
no, it would have been if you had actually guessed it, I'd been like, "Fee." Never been close to Arkansas. Well, if you come close this way, it's pretty. Even our interstates traveling up and down, pretty mountainous.
Natural state is the only state in the United States, Jerry, that you could put a wall around and we could live without importing or exporting anything.
And
we have diamonds, we have watermelons, we have beautiful water, we have hot springs, which is great. We have farmland, rice, we've got cotton farmers.
Jerry, have a good day. Thanks for tuning in when you did.
Take care of yourself, Jerry.
Enjoy work. Don't work too hard. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah,
as always, we love hearing from Jerry.
Positively.
Yeah, but they do say that the natural Arkansas could, due to our diversity of agricultural products, whether it be timber, chickens,
cotton,
produce,
rice.
Yeah, rice. We have a lot of bottling companies in Arkansas.
We do.
Yeah, the only problem is I don't think Arkansas will ever wall themselves off. As happy as I'd be with that.
Again, part of being the United States of America. But if it all came to martial law and I'd be very happy to live in the state of Arkansas without having to travel at all.
Well, the problem is whenever they do, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't remember the word, but once they split America into several smaller countries and regions, Arkansas will then be a border state to another country. That won't be good.
We'll see if that happens, folks.
Well, it just depends on the timeline,
We'll see if that happens.
But
Manly, I'm betting against that one. As you know, my handicapping ability is I was 2-0 last night on Thursday night. Manly's handicapping abilities aren't what we need to talk about.
Nobody needs to know about why you park in the handicapped spaces.
I have to look because I've got a handicapped sticker.
Oh, well, I don't even know. He doesn't actually have a handicapped sticker. I was just making fun of and making fun of the fact that I don't even know what handicapped in terms of sports ball even means. But moving on to the larger picture about Trump and the National Guard, a lot of people are claiming overreach, claiming he doesn't have the power, the authority, and are worried about the whole No Kings protest, right? And it's like, I will say, none of that bothers me. But it's interesting because people that were close to Trump in his first election are coming on interviews saying, he's for sure going to have a third term. I don't think you've heard about that. You know, even Trump will joke about it. But here's a clip about Steve Bannon, who was an advisor of Trump in his first term and is actually pretty popular in the conservative arena, has a popular podcast that features Jack Posobiec, which I know Phee doesn't know who Jack Posobiec is, but it's been a real vocal MAGA guy in politics for a long time. But just listen to this short clip from the interview where this Steve Bannon guy just essentially claiming Trump's going to get a third term. And, they probably use the angle of because the 22 war. It
will be because of war.
It'd be because of war, or there might be some sort of legal loopholes that if they actually proved that the 2020 election was stolen, that then he would be entitled to that. Now, I don't know anything about that, but I just heard.
I believe legally they could get that done.
But I just heard people talking about it. But let's listen to the interview because he might give the reason. So let's just listen.
Question for Secretary Hegseth. Sir, a memo.
Well, he's going to get a third term. So Trump 28. Trump is going to be president in 28, and people just ought to get accommodated with that.
So what about the 22nd Amendment?
There's many different alternatives. At the appropriate time, we'll lay out what the plan is. But there's a plan, and President Trump will be the president in 28. We had longer odds in 16 and longer odds in 24 than we got in 28. And President Trump will be the president of the United States, and the country needs him to be president of the United States. We have to finish what we started. And the way we finish it through Trump. Trump is a vehicle. I know this will drive you guys crazy, but he's a vehicle of divine providence. He's an instrument. He's very imperfect. He's not churchy, not particularly religious, but he's an instrument of divine will. And you can tell this of how he's pulled this off. We need him for at least one more term, right? And he'll get that in 28.
You're not driving me crazy. I'm trying to understand the coherence of the things you've just told me in the last few minutes. On the one hand, you've said the Constitution is fit for purpose. Secondly, you've said that President Trump needs another term, even though the 22nd Amendment makes pretty clear that he cannot have another term.
Why does it make that clear?
Because he's on his second term already.
At some point in time, we will make sure we go through, Zanny, and define all those terms.
Okay? But even if you find a way to undermine you will be undermining the spirit of that amendment, even if you find some way around it. And to those
Can the American people, if the American people, with the mechanisms we have, put Trump back in office, are the American people tearing up the Constitution? Would that be tearing up?
Well,
would the American people be going against the spirit of the Constitution, ma'am?
I think yes, actually, because I think what you will end up with is a populist justification for a quasi-dictatorship.
That's not true at all.
That's what it sounds like.
It's not. Trump is a dictatorship. Did you just see the compromises he had to make on the big, beautiful bill? You see the compromises he has to do on everything, on accommodating Zelensky, on what President Trump. President Trump is nothing but a series of negotiations to kind of keep this thing rolling forward, where he's having trade-offs all the time.
But Steve, you've just spent the last 20 minutes telling me we have to smash the other side. There's no room for debate. There's no room for compromise. We must smash them. And now you're telling me this is a negotiation. I mean, that's
no.
I guess that's why it seems to me some kind of tension
First
there.
off, the only way President Trump wins in 2028 and continues to stay in office is by the will of the American people, okay? And the will of the American people is what the Constitution embodies. And so I think we're going to be in good hands there. We need to finish what we started. And President Trump is the instrument, a providential instrument to finish this job.
Well, what do you think about that?
Been saying that he's been anointed by my Lord. I said it 18 months before he was elected. He would be elected when he was in a Georgia courthouse with election fraud allegations against him. I told you that Trump would be elected 18 months before the election. Went on the day of the election and told him that Wisconsin would take him over the top, and they did. So yes, he is anointed for exactly this time. He is not the Messiah. He is not.
He might be the Jewish Messiah.
He's not a Messiah, and he doesn't need to be hated. He's not a great man. He's a sinful man. But he is anointed for this, and my Lord uses sinful men to get what he wants accomplished. And Donald Trump is doing that right now, and it won't surprise me whatsoever that I told people that World War III would start before his term was over, and that's why he will continue to be the president.
Well, kind of like Zelensky's continue to be the president in Ukraine.
There you go.
Because of these, this war.
Are people going to like it?
No, of course not.
People going to say that he got into war in order to be able to get the third term?
Probably. But I will say you have a subset of the Jewish population who view him as a messianic figure. That's undeniable.
But he's not.
Well, no, I don't think he is the Messiah. I think Jesus Christ is the Messiah. But I don't think you can ignore those claims either.
I don't.
And, there was even an interview, in this press conference that I guess happened yesterday, where you had a Jewish reporter asking, in relation to this ballroom East Wing destruction. I don't care anything about that.
Privately funded.
Yeah, privately funded. Yeah, it doesn't mean anything to me if they got a ballroom or not. Who cares?
They need a ballroom.
Yeah,
they set up a dadgum white tent on the lawn one time.
Yeah, that's not important to me. I think that's just optics and people.
Well, Obama put a basketball court in.
Yeah, well, again,
I think a ballroom's better than a basketball court.
Yeah, I agree. But the point I'm making is, with that in mind, this reporter, I guess from Israel or just a Jewish reporter, was, prefaced the question by saying, we see that he's a great builder. Does he have this, does the administration, I should have pulled up the video, does he have any plans on helping rebuild the third temple? And of course the White House said, no, of course not. But wouldn't that be interesting? Would you be surprised if he had a hand in rebuilding the third temple?
Well, the third temple is going to be starting to be built in 2026, so he'll be in office. He really came out against the annexation of the West Bank, and that upset him because of that third temple is going to be built. Mm-hmm. Do I think he's going to be the architect of it? No,
of course not.
I don't. But I think he'll be in office when they build it. If that has anything to do with it.
Sure. I'm just asking. I don't have any. That's not a loaded question or anything. But what do you think this West Bank annexation? What's really going on with that?
I think Israel is trying their best to get ahead of the curve of the United Nations, and having over 135 folks already recognize Palestine as a state. Mm-hmm. From a scriptural standpoint, I don't care what they say about there being another world war or that Israel's going to annex the West Bank. There's 5 biblical characteristics that will start the last week of Daniel's 70-week prophecy.
Okay.
And that will be a 2-state solution, a temporary peace plan that will include giving up Judea, mm-hmm. which is the modern-day West Bank. It has mm-hmm. nothing to do with Gaza.
Okay, well, but in this instance, Israel annexing it implies that they don't already own it, right? And so what you're saying is this could lead, if they annex it, this could lead them to then make concessions within the annexed West Bank that would lead to this biblical peace plan.
They will never annex it.
Okay, well,
it will never get to that point.
Oh, okay, well then how can they give away land in it if it's not annexed?
Well, because that will be part of this 2-state solution that they will do. They will give the West Bank, which is Judea, to Palestine. But Palestine will allow Jewish settlers to stay in that state. Mm-hmm. Okay, those are your two. The number 3 is the third temple has to be built. Mm-hmm. Number 4 is it has to be a shared temple mount. Mm-hmm. And the last one has to be, the reason it's a temporary peace plan, and I bet you it'll be 7 years, is because will be fighting over Jerusalem.
Okay.
Palestine wants East Jerusalem. Mm-hmm. So what will happen is they will allow Israel to keep Jerusalem for 7 years. Then 3.5 years into that, that 7-year temporary peace plan, the Antichrist will stand in that third temple. He will break the covenant that Israel has with many nations. He will stop those sacrifices, declare himself as God, and then you got the wrath of Satan the last 3.5 years where he kills the saints, the elect, the children of God, that has to endure to the end. Mm-hmm. And as Matthew said, my Lord Jesus says in Matthew 24, if it wasn't for the saints during that time, no one would live. Because the world has never seen what's going to happen. And I'm going to tell you, it's ugly.
Well, and listen to this, which is very interesting because, I get labeled anti-Semite. I get labeled as being a Jew hater, Israel hater. Not the case. Not the case.
Never has been.
No, but I saw...
Eyes wide open, folks.
Yeah. But I will say, though, think about during COVID how much censorship was over stuff like ivermectin, which has been around since the 60s or 70s. no problem getting it, but they censored all those doctors, all those people pushing it, right? You don't see a whole lot of censorship about all of the stuff coming out about Israel and the Jews. And again, I talk often about how I think that's part of the overarching deception that's coming on in the end times, in that you're going to have the beast system rise up to destroy the harlot Jerusalem, right? But you have all these people who are going to jump, I think to support the evil and wicked harlot's bad, because look, highway to hell. Supporting the beast is a highway to hell too, but I think this is where it's going to lead, I believe. And I can show you where I was reading about it later. But essentially, you're going to have these people who we know biblically that there's going to be a national redemption of Israel, a national turning from their wicked ways to their Messiah, right? We know that's happening. There's going to be a remnant.
There you go.
There's going to be a remnant. But in the meantime, you have all these people who are learning the truth about the Jews, the Israel, the Talmud, who are, literally right now claiming, the Jews worship the devil. They might, but they take it as far as to say that even the God of the Old Testament was always a demon. Okay? Right? So keep that in mind. And so that you're going to have the harlot, who rides the beast, which has been happening, right? The piggybacking off each other. But the beast will burn the harlot with fire and will come against Jerusalem, right?
Yep.
And so all these people who are learning the truth about Israel and the Jewish question are going to be convinced that the God of Israel's been a demon this whole time, which he's not.
There lies the deception.
There lies the deception, but it's in this deception that when Jesus actually comes at the Battle of Armageddon, these people are going to go to war against the returning Christ. And, that's where, these people thinking they're doing God's work, hey, these evil, despicable people, right? And the thing I was reading about even mentioned that, what was I going to say? Even mentioned that the whole reason for that is because, Satan doesn't want, Satan doesn't want the Jewish people to finally accept their Messiah. So if he can delay that, he's delaying his own judgment, so he's getting all these people worked up and involved in it so that when the world finally goes to war against Israel and they're punished, because we know they're going to experience tribulation, and it's that tribulation that will make them realize, oh, we messed up. Our Messiah came 2,000 years ago. Okay? We need to support that. I don't think we need to support the Israeli government.
No.
I don't think we need to support Talmudic Judaism or Rabbinic Judaism, but to harden yourself against that specific redemption of Israel is what's going to lead people to quite literally go to war with Jesus when he returns. And then, that's why I say, okay, side A bad, side B bad. Just focus on the commandments of Christ and look for national, maybe it's just the remnant who is the national, the redemption or the turning, the softening of the hearts of the Jewish people to their Christ. It's all coming, man.
Bottom line is people don't make my Lord a priority in their lives. They want fire insurance. So they're not reading like you are. They're not praying. They're not studying.
No, I don't know
very much anything about Revelations except, it's just symbolism and we're not going to be
right.
there.
And I don't know if that sounded like a schizo rant or if that made sense in my explanation.
It makes perfect sense to people who are actually paying attention, but 99% of the folks out there don't.
That's why I say there's deception on both sides, because the people getting up on right now on TV, like Ted Cruz, if you hate Israel, you hate America. Ooh, that's too far.
Cruz doesn't know anything what he's talking about.
No, but most evangelical Americans believe the same way.
Yes, they do.
And I think that's incorrect.
You need to actually support the nation of Israel, not the government of Israel, not the criminals of Israel, not the people that are living in Israel now, but the nation of Israel is what you need to stand with. Because if you're standing with these folks that are over there now, and if you're not aware of how the criminal activities that they're involved in. It's just like saying in the United States that everybody's the same way.
Well, yeah.
And every Jew's the same way. All the United States folks or Americans are the same way.
And that's why I don't buy into wholeheartedly the whole replacement theory that the church completely replaced the Jewish people in God's plan. Well, no, I mean,
that's
that
ridiculous.
That's ridiculous, but I think it's somewhere in the middle in that, well, yeah, you could say that the church are the heirs to the promises of Abraham. But
Absolutely.
God's not going to break his covenant with Abraham.
He can't change and he can't lie.
And in the end times, there will be a softening of the hearts of a remnant in Israel that will cry out to their Messiah. And this thing I was even reading said Jesus actually won't return until it's this remnant who calls out. And, the quote was, I guess, something in the New Testament that Jesus said, I'm paraphrasing, essentially said, if I can remember, hey, I'm not going to come back until they say, blessed be the name of the one who comes, or blessed be the one who comes in the name of the Lord. Now that somehow relates to Jesus, I guess. But I mean, one of the things you talk about is we talk about, you don't know the actual date, but you can know the season. And the people who think they're not going to be there for the third temple, not going to be there for the Antichrist, not going to be there for the mark of the beast, no telling what they're going to think once it actually starts happening.
They're going to come right out of those denominations, right out of those different religions. If they're children of God, at some point, they're not going to double down. They're going to keep doubling down.
Well, yeah, but
remember, I said the season, but you're also going to get a whole lot closer to the time period. And this is the way you do that. Number one, when they sign that two-state solution temporary peace plan, you've got 7 years.
Right.
When that that Antichrist stands in that third temple, you've got 3.5 years.
Well, yeah, and when the armies of the entire world gather against Jerusalem,
but you've got 3.5 years of those prophets and those two witnesses doing all kinds of miracles and plagues, and then they're going to lay in the street 3.5 days dead. Folks, the very next verse is the seventh trumpet. So you're going to know when they die, they got 3.5 days.
Yeah.
So you're going to know the season now, but as it gets closer, you're going to know the dadgum within a couple of days.
Well, yeah. And also, if we get on the news and say, hey, there's a big old group of folks in Israel who are deciding that Jesus is the Messiah, then it's going to be like, uh-oh. But I mean, I really can't see how all these people who will be killing the saints thinking they're doing God's work.
I tell them all the time, Christians will be killing Christians in the name of Jesus and think they're doing right. That's as bad as the deception is going to be. It's just absolutely amazing that people aren't aware and don't care because it doesn't affect their lives today. No. It's like the kids that get kidnapped and people say, oh, that's terrible, and they move right on about their business. But if it was your neighbor or your kids, then it would change your life immediately.
100%.
And I don't like the fact that people move on so quickly that we had a tornado in North Carolina and Virginia and Tennessee last year. And then now those folks still don't have houses. You don't ever hear about them.
No, because it's not
an ammunition plant blow up in Tennessee.
Old news.
20 people just evaporated.
Yeah, there's a whole lot.
You don't hear about that.
A whole lot more interesting news happening right now.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is
ridiculous.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying every single day it's this big important. That's the whole thing with the ballroom. It's like it's the most pressing important thing because they want you to believe it's the most pressing and important thing, regardless of it. Who cares?
Well, they can't fool Manly Mark for sure.
No, I mean I hope not.
I hope people aren't sitting around their break table saying, what do y'all think about the ballroom at the White House? Well, I think it's ridiculous. He would spend taxpayers' money. Well, they're not spending taxpayers' money.
Well, and these I saw someone mention on the news, the construction's not taxpayer funded, but all these probes and investigations that they're trying to put in place about the ballroom are taxpayer funded.
Again. I don't know. The bottom line is there are some strange things going on, but Fee's vision is just going to continue to hit the mark.
We'll be here for it, but let me just go ahead and close the show out, and we'll give a few closing comments because we talked about it already, but I wanted to show this. J.D. Vance is in Israel, the Middle East right now, and commenting on the vote to annex the West Bank. So let's just listen to this, we'll give a few more comments, and then close out.
Yeah, go ahead. we'll do. Yeah.
The West Bank vote yesterday that took place while you were in the country.
Oh yeah, that was weird. That was weird. I was sort of confused by that. Now I actually asked somebody about it, and they told me that it was a symbolic vote, some symbolic vote to recognize or a symbolic vote to annex the West Bank. I mean, what I would say to that is when I asked about it, somebody told me that it was a political stunt, that it had no practical significance. It was purely symbolic. I mean, look, if it was a political stunt, it was a very stupid political stunt, and I personally take some insult to it. The West Bank is not going to be annexed by Israel. The policy of the Trump administration is that the West Bank will not be annexed by Israel. That will continue to be our policy. And if people want to take symbolic votes, they can do that. But we certainly weren't happy about it. Thank you.
My first thought is, just like the symbolic practice run of the burning of the red heifer. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was just a practice run, but maybe it was actually the real one.
I think Israel doesn't care about the United States, what they think. They're going to try to annex it. What Fee's telling you is they're not going to be able to do it.
Yeah, well, I don't have any opinion on it.
Okay, so they can annex it. They can they got bulldozers on there. They're building roads in there. They've been doing this for 6 months.
Yeah.
They've been trying to get ahead of it. They're going to try to divide that into 3 different areas, and it's not going to work. And I think that what you see when Trump comes out and says Israel's not going to annex the West Bank, and then J.D. Vance says, it's a symbolic vote, they're at odds about it.
Oh, yeah. Well, and it's just interesting because think what the world's going to think if Israel annexes the West Bank. More public outcry.
If they annex the West Bank, they're going to give it away. That's just like I don't understand them talking about spending billions and billions of dollars to redo Gaza.
Well, I'll tell you why, because I should have played this clip, but who's that? Jared Kushner and some other important guy were giving an interview the other day, and they talked about how the original 2-year plan from 2 years ago for Gaza was to develop it. You know, you already have Jews from New Jersey talking about how they've already purchased beachfront property in Gaza. You know, the whole premise of the Gaza war was October 7th. But there was talk about a plan put in place way before October 7th of, hey, we need to develop it, make it resorts, make it beachfront property. It's all just like 9/11. Hey, 9/11's going to happen, then we're going to go to war with Iraq. And, it's the same thing.
How about the California wildfires with no water in the reservoir to put them out?
Kind of weird how at the same time you find plans that have been in place for high-speed rails in those same areas.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
I mean, folks, the writing's on the wall.
It's also so many layers that Phee was unaware of. Manly Mark is a blessing to me because I just didn't care, didn't spend any time, wasn't the least bit interested.
Well, everything's connected, man. I even have a clip I'll play eventually of a member of the Trump administration literally saying, yeah, we're looking into the geoengineering and spraying harmful chemicals in our skies. We're going to look into that and try to put a stop to it. And, said the implication, hey, it's been happening. It's going to continue to happening. Been happening for a while. Oh, but the suggestion of weather modification and they're spraying poison in our skies, you're a crazy person. It's like,
that's why 26-year-olds are losing their hair, having ED. That's why you have women that are infertile. You have, because of these vaccinations, these pesticides. You've got folks right now. You've got one state has already banned Bill Gates' lab meat, and I hope that everybody else will follow suit with that, because that man has got bad intentions for you. And I do not care if you like his computers or not. I'm here to tell you, he is dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
And so let's continue to grow our food. Let's continue to. I tell you, Mark, I would get in the well building business.
I know. I want a well so bad.
I'm telling you, people need to. They need that draw. They need to dig some wells, because water treatment plants aren't designed for some of these toxic chemicals. They're not even treated for them.
Well, no,
and by the way, there's no humans there testing. It's the same thing that when you give blood, those machines, I get my blood test back before I get home. It's all done by machines.
Well, but it's like even the chemicals they put into the water, like fluoride.
hurting us.
You know, like if you read about or listen to these guys who work at these water treatment facilities, it's like, yeah, if you that's the most harmful chemical we've got. If you go into there and the fan's not blowing, you'll die, or
you'll pass out for sure with the fumes.
Well, yeah, but it's like not only is the fluoride they put in our water not naturally occurring fluoride, it's a byproduct of another chemical process, but it's just like, hey, we talk about how the Roman Empire lined their aqueducts with lead, and that might have led to some of the chaos and craziness within the Roman Empire that led to its collapse. Oh, kind of like the fluoride in our water lowers IQ points by up to 8 points. Huh. You wonder why everyone's stupid. I don't know, man.
Who knows, but I can tell you one thing. It's Friday, and Manly Mark is fixing to have a great weekend. I am going to be traveling again, trying to take care of some more business, and be back Monday for another great week
of and
the
folks,
Phee Smee Network shows.
I tell you, here before long, you'll notice some differences. I mean, some of these business things that Fee's got in the works, I mean, you'll know when it happens because we'll be on air a whole lot more. You'll just know, whether that be based upon the content we're pushing out, the content we're doing right now, and just, I mean, we're about to expand, is the point.
Going into phase 2, baby.
Finally getting into phase 2. Sometimes it takes longer than you hope, but...
Always takes twice the amount of
money.
Well,
but at the same time, it's like things really get nitty-gritty, and then something happens, and it's almost confirmation that, the Lord might be in this.
Thank you, Father.
You know?
Thank you, Father. And thank you guys for tuning in today to the Phee Smee Show with Manly Mark. Manly, have a great weekend, and God bless you guys.
Thank you, folks. I'll see you next time.